I'm on a mission to create more jobs in the Philippines. Now, I'm an American, I live here, but I've been hiring people in the Philippines for 14 years. I've got a team of 23 people, and I'm on a mission to grow that number in my own company, but I want to help other people hire a lot of people in the Philippines as well. So I have 3 goals in this episode. 1 is to show you how easy it is to hire people in the Philippines. 2, why do we hire people in the Philippines? There's some advantages there versus other countries. And then I want to paint a picture of what you can do by hiring people in the Philippines. Now, I love charity, I love philanthropy, but in the beginning, especially when you rewind 14 years ago, I just saw this as economics. I didn't see this as any type of philanthropy. But over the years, as I've gotten feedback and as I've actually gone to the Philippines and met my team, and I see the admiration and respect they give me and the thanks for the employment that I've given them over the years, I've heard about the difference that I've made in their lives and in their extended family. I hear stories of them moving to a house on the hill so when a typhoon comes, their house doesn't flood. I've seen this more and more as philanthropy, and I really think that this is the greatest philanthropy that I'll ever do. So with my company, it's taking a lot of trial and error. I've had ups and downs. So over the last 14 years, not all of that has been successful. I've grown and shrunk my team, but now I'm at a pretty stable place. I've had 23 people on my team for a couple of years now. When I look at the prospects of growing my team, like ideally, I think I'd like to have 100 people in the Philippines working for my company. But there's a lot of steps to get there. That means I have to really quadruple my company, quadruple the number of clients I can service. So that's my personal goal over the next several years, but 100 people isn't really going to scratch the surface. So I've created this channel to help people in America learn of the opportunity and what they can do in their business, and so that people in the Philippines can make themselves more employable for Americans. So when I learned this, my life completely changed. I mean, the company that I've created, the person that I am, would be drastically different if my friend John Jonas hadn't shown me how to do this. And likewise, I've shown other people how to do this, and it's drastically changed their lives. The first one I'll give you as an example is Peter Hollins. Now, he's a YouTuber, he's a musician, he sings a cappella music, and it's really high production. Now, for many, many years, I followed him, and I met him in person at a YouTube event in Los Angeles. And he was asking questions about my team and how I hire them and how I train them and whatnot, and about video editing. And, you know, he's an artist, and so while he's the one that performs, he's got a filming crew, he was the one doing the editing, and I encouraged him just to give it a try. I told him how to train, and that's going to be more work in the beginning than just editing himself. But I met him again a year later at that same event, and he reported to me, "Nate, I just have to say, you have changed my life." So I love getting feedback like that. This is just such an amazing opportunity. Now, you may remember the YouTube channel King of Random, the way it used to be when Grant Thompson was alive. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he had created an amazing YouTube channel. He was the star. He was in every episode, and while he did have a few USA-based editors, he was very involved in the process. I know he was often putting in 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and he had 4 children, and he wanted to be able to spend more time with them, but he was glued to his job. His channel was so successful, and he felt if he pulled his foot off the gas that he would lose momentum with it. So he did 2 things. 1, he hired other people to be the stars on his YouTube channel. That took him about a year to figure out how to do that and to find that groove. The second thing that he did is he started hiring other people in the Philippines. I showed him the ropes. And so he was really able to separate himself from the channel in both these ways. And he was able to be the dad and the husband that he wanted to be for 2 years before his tragic accident. Now, if you've heard from me before on one of my other channels, I often talk about Noelle Randall. She's another person that I taught how to hire people in the Philippines, and it's been transformational for her as well. But there are a lot more businesses out there that could really benefit from this. And I just want to mention one. There's a YouTube channel that I love, my boys love. It's called Outdoor Boys. This father and husband named Luke, he loves outdoor adventures. And for many, many years, every Saturday, he's been posting a single episode. So 1 episode a week, every Saturday, and it's been reliable. His adventures are fun. He goes winter camping in Alaska. He goes on adventures in the Louisiana Bayou. At the time of this recording, it was just last Saturday, me and my boys were watching the latest episode to see what adventure they went on. It was a great episode, but he shared something. He says, "You know what? I'm working too hard. I'm going to have to cut down to 1 episode every other week." And me and my boys are like, no. So quickly, I tried emailing him. I'm not associated with him. We've never communicated, but I wanted to share with him that he doesn't have to go that route. He shared that he works about, if I remember right, I believe he said he's working 60 to 70 hours a week to put out this content. I know a lot of that time is spent in the filming. When you watch his content, you see he puts a lot of work into the production of this. But I also know that he's doing all of the editing. And imagine if he had an amazing editing team in the Philippines. This would change his life, and it would make sure that we kept getting our weekly content. Now I've got a scenario for you. Whatever your business is, you've probably thought about what would it be like to hire an employee, but that's a daunting task, right? Especially if you're thinking a USA-based employee, man, if I had one additional person, that's like replicating myself. Imagine what I'll be able to do. But there's so many barriers, it seems like, to get there. One of those is the cost. Like, okay, that's gonna be a pretty big expense. We're gonna be able to get more done. I know I need to do that. Okay, but now let me paint a picture of somebody in the Philippines. You can hire somebody in the Philippines starting at $400 to $500 per month. So we'll just say $500 a month for easy math. This is somebody that's working for you, running your systems 8 hours a day. So the same budget that you were looking at to hire somebody USA based, let's say you were planning on paying them $4,000 a month. Imagine what you could do with that same money in the Philippines. You could hire 8 full-time people. Now, that just is a crazy number if you're thinking about hiring one, but I invite you to pull out a piece of paper and just play for a little bit. What could you do with 8 different people? What tasks would you give them, and what systems would you need to create so that you could keep 8 full-time people busy? What would your company look like? What services would you be able to offer? So 14 years ago, I got a taste of this. I hired one person, and when that was successful, I went through this process and kind of had a vision of what I could create. Within several months, I had really expanded my team. This is real. This has changed my life. I've used the same website for the last 14 years to find people. It's virtualassistanttool.com. I recommend you go there, scroll down to the bottom, and look for advanced VA search. That's my favorite way. You can post a job, you can do that, but I love doing advanced searches and finding the profiles of people that match what I'm searching for. You really got to narrow it down, because there are hundreds of thousands of people in the Philippines that are hoping to be employed by an American company. So check that out, virtualassistanttool.com.